I'd like to call the June 9, 2014 Dearborn Public School Board of Education Board meeting. To order, please. There we go. Now we're on. Okay. Just for the record, I almost called the delay of the meeting for a half hour. It's a beautiful day outside, and my grandson is on the other side of the parking lot playing t-ball. I heard there was a full house here today. I said I better get over there real quick, so I ran over here. Roll call, please.
Trustee Adams?
Here.
Trustee Guido?
Here.
Trustee Lane?
Here.
Trustee McDonald?
Here.
Trustee Shellis here. Trustee Schoolmaster?
Here.
President Barry.
Here. Next item, please.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag. Ms. Ross Grover, principal of Snow Elementary School, will introduce students who will lead in the pledge.
Good evening, President Barry, school board members, and Mr. Whiston. I want to tell you just a minute about these students. These students were all nominated by the fifth grade team for a Core Values Award for all of their years up through fifth grade. This award goes to 2 students who consistently display this Dearborn School's core values. And we don't know who the winners are yet, but we're so proud of all of them because they're all role models for our whole school community that they came tonight to lead the pledge for us.
Great. Congratulations and welcome.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You guys could step forward.
Great job.
I can tell you their names, Rena
Yes,
or Robbie.
yes.
Rena, you want to step forward?
We got Chris, step forward.
Sadie Gerlach, Ava Evenhouse, Rebecca
Good
Saparti,
job.
Colin Rainmakers, and Hanan Muhammad. And then Chris Holt and Maya Moreau were not able to make it tonight.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations.
So what was the outcome of the staffed fifth graders game that I saw going on this afternoon?
I'm sure they don't want to tell you, but for once again, for the fifth, sixth time, the teachers won. It was close this year, though. We only won by 1.
Colin, congratulations.
It was it kickball?
Congratulations.
Kickball, yeah. That's what I think.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item, please.
Superintendent's updates, agenda items, non-agenda items.
So we have 2 retirements on the agenda. A Laura Goebel, who's retiring from Department of Physical and Otherwise Health Impaired, 21 years of service. And Cheryl Spatafor, that's a Forward Food Service person, almost 21 years of service. We congratulate those and all of our retirees. Certainly this is an exciting week as we head into graduations. This Friday night we'll have Etzel Ford graduation, and then on Saturday morning Fortson, and Saturday evening Dearborn High. So a very exciting week for everyone. Certainly you're going to hear budget news today from Sam, but as soon as he gives the report, it's going to be out of date because the legislature is supposed to act in the next week or so on school aid budget, and of course whatever information we base them on, I'm sure it's going to change. So
You're so funny.
we are going to give you a budget recommendation, and then we'll come back in a couple weeks and probably have to give you another one. But following the law and the requirements to give you a balanced budget report, that's what we're doing. That's all my reports.
Okay. Next item, please.
Citizen participation. Citizens wishing to address the board on an agenda or non-agenda items for action who are signed in by 7:10 by submitting a blue card to the secretary may speak at this time. I have no blue cards.
Okay. Next item, please.
Approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes of the following Dearborn Board of Education meetings. Special meeting, closed expulsion, May 27, 2014. Board Report 13-161. Regular P12 meeting, May 27, 2014. Board Report 13-162. Recommended action, make any necessary corrections, and move approval of these minutes.
So moved. Support?
We have a motion and support. Are there any corrections, changes, amendments? Hearing none, the motion will carry. Next item, please.
Recognition and acknowledgements, commendations. Reading tonight's commendations is Suad Salah from Fordson High School.
Is Swad here?
Maybe?
Maybe she's outside watching the game.
All right, David, I guess David gets to read them.
I have a copy, thank you.
Reading tonight's commendations will be David Mustonen, our official backup.
Good evening, board members. Thank you very much. I love jumping in and being a team player here. That's what it's
Like
all
always,
about.
thank you.
So tonight, we'll start off with commendations to Dearborn High School thespians Maria Viscomi and Kayla Katona, who both won Outstanding Achievement of Youth in Theater Awards during the recent Press and Guide Entertainment Page Awards. Might have mentioned that at the last one, but we wanted to mention it again because we also wanted to congratulate fellow Dearborn High thespians, Mary Charara, Emma Garber, Victoria Johnson, and Grace Secludis, who also won Page Awards for their onstage theatrical performances during the past school year. Commendations to Jeffrey Oshnock, Director of Band and Orchestra at Dearborn High, for being named this year's District 12 Teacher of the Year for Band by the Michigan School Band and Orchestra Association. It's an extreme honor that is offered only after careful consideration of a teacher's service to the students, school district, and their profession. The high quality of the instrumental music program at Dearborn High is a direct reflection of the strong dedication and hard work that Mr. Oshnock has devoted to music education. We'd also like to give commendations to the 59 Dearborn High School boys athletes and 52 Dearborn High girls athletes. I will not read all 100 and some odd names there, 111 names, who have been named All-League All-American athletes by the Western Wayne Athletic Conference. These juniors and seniors have a 3.3 cumulative GPA with a letter in a WWAC-sponsored sport in 2013-14. Sports in the WWAC are football, basketball, golf, swimming, cross-country, track, soccer, wrestling, baseball, softball, and tennis. Commendations to the 56 Etzel Ford student athletes who also earned a Western Wayne Athletic Conference All-Academic Certificate. Students must be a junior or senior with at least 3.3, as we mentioned. Congratulations to the following Etzel Ford spring varsity teams who earned over a 3.0 team GPA during their sports season. Girls track with a 3.22, girls tennis 3.35, girls soccer 3.37, softball 3.14, boys golf 3.26, and baseball 3.03. Salina Intermediate. Commendations to Salina Intermediate Science Fair winners. First place was awarded to Reem Al-Harbi and Mohammed Al-Harbi for their water purification project. Second place was awarded to Marwa Al-Badini and Yasmin Al-Jahami for their project titled Think Inc. Chemical Reactions. Third place was awarded to Lina Awad and Rana Al-Sahadi for their crystal formation project. So congratulations to those students at Salina Intermediate. And finally, we want to acknowledge, I know we're going to be acknowledging a lot of scholarships here this evening. We'd like to congratulate several Dearborn students who were awarded the Otto J. Rowan Scholarship, sponsored by Dearborn Rotary. From Dearborn High and the Berry Center, Ithar El-Saharif, who is in health occupations, Sheila Imamovic, who is also in health occupations. From Dearborn High, Noor Burrow for welding technology, Hussein Jamal in automotive technology, Nicole Vetch for marketing education, and Joshua Walker for video production. From Etzel Ford and the Berry Center, Emily Clem in the culinary arts, and Trey Schudemeyer for information technology. From Etzel Ford, Jacob Priest for automotive technology. From Fortson and the Berry Center, Mohammed Zaheen for health occupations. And from Fortson, Scott Sawa for automotive technology. The scholarships honor Otto J. Rowan, a former Dearborn Rotarian who was an industrial arts teacher at Fortson High School and in 1928 became principal at Woodworth Junior High. In his estate, Rowan established a fund to assist career technical education students and special education students. And that is our commendations for this evening. Thank you very
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
The Amicus Club Scholarship.
Amicus, I think Mike Bewick is here. Mike?
Saw him here, yes.
It's all in the
I don't know if any of the
process.
students are here.
Are any of the students here that won the Amicus Club Scholarship? Please come forward.
Yeah, we selected one from each of the high schools, Etzel, Fordson, and Dearborn High. I think this is our second or third year, and we're going to continue
Third year
that.
at least.
And these are two of
Why
these.
don't you introduce
Yes.
yourselves? What school you're from?
I'm Sam Musigian, and I'm from Dearborn High School.
Okay.
I almost guessed that.
I'm Huda Ishmael, and I'm from Fortson High School.
Thank you.
And the third one,
From Etzel Ford would have been, is?
Sarah Abdallah?
I don't have the names with me.
Yeah, Sarah Abdallah, I think. She must
He's got
not
the
have been
important
able
stuff,
to
the checks.
make it. Actually, I think we need, the students are going to tell him what college is, and he's going to get the
Yes,
checks
'cause
to
we
him.
make the checks to the
Okay.
college. That saves them any
Right.
tax implications.
What they're going into.
So tell us what you're going into for college?
I'm going into pre-pharmacy at U of M Dearborn.
Oh, very
Okay.
good.
Wonderful.
Good.
And I'm planning on going into computer engineering at U of M Ann Arbor.
Very
Very
exciting.
good. Very
So
good.
the Amicus Group, you want to talk a little bit about the Amicus Group and just,
The Amicus Group is a group of civic and business people in the city who have been meeting for lunch since Bill Persani founded it, about the 70s. And we meet once a month, and we just have lunch, and we throw money in the pot and give it away. And that's
pretty-
basically what we do. We don't really do any fundraising other than write a check, and then we give out the money. So we built up some funds, and we started a few years ago, let's put it into scholarships. And we also helped that student who was unfortunate
family
at
from
Etzel.
Etzel Ford, they help the family as well.
Well, thank you for what you do. We appreciate you. Trustee Lane,
Question, if I may?
please do.
I just wonder, you don't do any fundraising, which is really great, and I just think that we should always take every opportunity to pitch this. It's a great thing, and like Otto J. Rowan, the name goes on, and the giving goes on, and I'd like to ask the students, does this, I mean, you win something, does it mean anything to you? Do you think it's gonna be useful? I mean, how do you feel about it?
I mean, yeah, of course it's going to be useful for us because college is expensive, and so to further our educations, to be able to ultimately give back to the world in whatever field we plan on going into.
Great.
Good, good.
Yeah, it's very rewarding receiving this scholarship, and it's very. I hope it encourages other people to step up and be leaders as well, since that's what the scholarship was mainly about.
I didn't pay her to say that, but that's exactly what I wanted to hear you say. It's great, and congratulations. on
Yeah,
the
congratulations.
scholarship.
Thank you.
So we'd like you to come over here and get a pic. Oh, Jim has a question.
Yeah, Mike, what is the basis upon which this scholarship is awarded for those individuals that may have children that are?
Well, to be honest with you,
Yeah, I
we've
got
had
that
so
one.
many people, we let the superintendent handle
It's
that.
a 250-word essay about how leadership in high school contributed and prepared them for life after high school. They have to meet certain conditions in terms of financial and the like, so.
It's, once again, it's a wonderful honor to be singled out for any type of scholarship. And this appears to be a scholarship that's pretty much open to almost anyone.
Yes, one from each high school,
You know,
I think pretty much can apply.
and if one wants to write an essay and whatever,
And we're talking about a 250-word essay, so, the essays are 1 pages. It's not like they have to
But
write.
not only do the students get honored, but potentially anyone who wants to donate a scholarship can have any person they select be honored.
Yeah.
And they could have it given to somebody who's left-handed or does art or goes to U of M or wherever.
or a left-handed go to U of M person.
Exactly. You can tailor it however you like, but.
That'd be
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, please.
If you could
If I
step
can
over
ask
here.
Vice President Jim Schoolmaster to join us for the photo op, please.
Oh, thank you.
Next item, please.
Exchange Club Scholarship.
Exchange Club, I don't know if I'm representing Exchange Club or if somebody else. Is there anybody else here from Exchange Club? You too?
This one we fundraise for, though.
Yeah. All right, well, I can see our awardee is here, so why don't you come forward from the Exchange Club? The Exchange Club Scholarship is the Superintendent's Award Scholarship, and again, they have to write an essay on the community and the like. And so our winner, I know I'm just gonna let you introduce yourself so I don't say your name wrong.
Adil Haidar.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Hadil Haidar. I'm from Etzel Ford. And, well, first off, I'd just like to send out a big thank you to the Exchange Club. This scholarship really means a lot to me. And I know community service is something that my parents have pushed on to me since I was a little kid. And it's kind of hard to find a balance, especially when you want to keep your grades up. But thankfully, everything turned out well, and I like being involved in the community. So thank you for that. And I know I'm going to be going to Wayne State this fall. I'm majoring in biology, hoping to go to med school soon. So that's where the money's going to go. So thank you for that.
And the Exchange Club provides $5,000 over a 2-year period, $2,500 first year, $2,500 second year. And again, Mike Bewick and myself are both members of the Exchange Club, another organization that meets on a weekly basis, and they do fundraising because $5,000 is a lot of money to give each year. So we do some fundraising to make that happen. But Mike, anything else you want to add?
No, just one of the things we do with the scholarship, they get spread over 2 years, and they have to keep the grades up the first year. They don't get the second one, so it's a little incentive.
That's a good incentive.
We'd never not give them the second one.
Well,
And
that's
this
a good
is
thing.
the 4th year, I think?
Fourth or fifth.
4th or 5th year, and I had the opportunity to go and interrupt her while she was taking the final to let her know that she had won, and I kept telling the teacher and principal, I don't know, should we tell her, because how's she going to go back and do her final? But I'm sure she aced it, so I'm sure it was okay.
Definitely a challenge, but
And I know Hadil's name because what she said that she's in the community, that's the understatement. Almost every event I attend to, she's the first one there, so thank you for your service.
thank you.
So
I'm
we
glad
can,
to be a part.
You come over here and get a picture if you want to sign a board.
If I can ask Treasurer, please, Roxanne McDonald to join them. Next item.
Metro
Exciting
Bureau
meetings so far.
Scholarship. These are great meetings to have.
Exchange Club Scholarship, Metro Bureau, I'm sorry. I see Carl Weiss coming up, and I meant to say Metro Bureau Scholarship. Carl Weiss is the Executive Director of Metro Bureau. And if the students are here for that scholarship, if they could join Carl at the podium, please.
Welcome. Well, it's my pleasure tonight to be here to award 2 $1,000 scholarships from the Metro Bureau. This year, our Metro Bureau Executive Board renamed our scholarship to honor someone who's near and dear to many of your hearts, Dr. Tom McLennan. This year, 30 students from the Metropolitan Detroit region representing 25 different high schools applied for the scholarship. And there are 10 recipients, and 2 of them are right here with me from Dearborn Public Schools. We have Nermeen Shoaib from Fortson High School and Jason Lynn from Edsel Ford. Nermeen and Jason will each receive a check from the Metro Bureau for $1,000. These scholarships are given, as I said, in honor of Tom McLennan, who's my predecessor and who was the executive director of the Metro Bureau for 24 years. Dr. McLennan grew up in the Downriver area. He attended Wayne State University, and his first teaching job, and I believe he was a lifer right here in Dearborn Public Schools. As Dr. McLennan rose the career ladder, he increased his education. He received a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctorate degree, all in education, from Wayne State University. He also went back and received a Juris Doctorate from the law school at Wayne State University. So if anybody exemplifies the value of being well educated, it would be Dr. McLennan. Anyway, tonight it's my pleasure to award these scholarships to the 2 of you, Nermeen and Jason. Thank you.
If we could hear from the students as well.
College is going to be a new experience. There's going to be new people. I'm going to dorm over there, so that'll be really different. There'll be tougher subjects, so having the financial burden taken off, that's a bit of a relief. Thank you.
Which college?
Wayne State.
Wayne State,
Wonderful.
okay.
Studying
Wonderful.
what?
Congratulations, good luck to you.
Biology.
Biology.
Very good.
Congratulations, and
Thank
good
you.
luck to you.
I want to thank the scholarship donors for helping me, and that when I first applied to the scholarship, the purpose of it was going to human services and helping others. And like when I applied, I knew that like I had a good shot because I was very honest with all my answers, and when I talked to the committee, they were also very helping, and I want to say thank you to everyone.
What school you be?
Wayne State
Wayne
University.
State also? What are you studying?
Biochemistry.
Okay, good. Congratulations and good luck to you.
Yeah, you guys could step over here, Jason.
Can I ask Jim again, please? Jim, you can join him, please. Next scholarship?
The Garden Club Scholarship.
And I think Mary Bouget, a former school board member, is here to award the scholarship.
We'll be in the end, because you guys are the important people, because you're in the middle. Hi, Carol. Come closer to me.
Hi, I'm Mary Bajea, and I have Karen Marzoni. We were the two that were in charge of the education part of our Garden Club of Dearborn. And last year, we initiated this essay contest for students to write the value of community gardening. And last year, we had very few participants, and this year, we were glad we had 12 that participated. And we have three winners. We have a winner from each of the three high schools, but the one from Fortson wasn't able to be here tonight. So do you want to?
We'd like to recognize Meredith Brehab and Samuel Musugin.
He looks familiar.
As well as Sahar Arush, who couldn't be here tonight.
Okay, congratulations.
But let's hear from the students again.
I'd like to read their essays.
Yeah.
That's a great topic.
Yeah, so I'm Meredith, and I wrote about the values of community gardens, and I will be studying environmental engineering, so I'm interested in that field at Michigan Tech. So.
Michigan Tech, okay. Good luck to you.
You can repeat.
You already know where I'm going and what I plan on studying, but I wrote about how gardens are really like a good creative outlet for individuals to basically express their artistic creativity.
Very cool.
Congratulations. Good luck to you.
Congratulations. You guys can come over here.
Next award.
Ooh, another one of my favorites, the Art Show Awards.
All right, we do have Kate Blair here, and I'm sure her I can see many members of her team as well. So, Kate.
Good evening. I'm Kate Blair.
Kate.
During this busy and challenging school year, the art department continued to support our students in their efforts to attain 21st century skills. The visual arts are inherently well equipped to convey the 4 C's: creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking to our students every day in each of our classes. Our November Empty Bowls meal provided $3,500 for a Gleaners Food Bank and blessings in a backpack. And our recent meal at Henry Ford Village made $1,800 for Gleaners, both matching gifts, doubled both donations. So we did well there. 4th and 5th grade students from Duval and Lindbergh won 5 Best of Show awards for their animation at the Michigan Student Film Festival at the DIA. And Sue Dolman received a Dearborn Cable Fund grant for a digital movie camera and other equipment. She had Eugene Clark, a visiting artist, at both of her schools creating dinosaur drawings at Duval and a painting on canvas at Lindbergh. She's right over there. She's keeping her head down. She's not. The Sculpture Initiative project supported by the Dearborn Community Fund was once again a big hit with students and teachers. This year, the poetry and found object sculptures were included on display during the citywide art show opening. The Pockets of Perception project, under the direction of art teacher Mohammed Bazzi of Fortson High School and retired art teacher Wendy Sample, continues with a group of high school students who continue to work on a tile mural for the new train station being built on Michigan Avenue. This year's citywide art show was as exciting as ever, and I learned last year that it started in the old Miller School building sometime in the 1960s, so this tradition is some 50 plus years ongoing. The DCAC, Dearborn Community Arts Council, contributes a portion of the cost of framing by the Village Frame Shop to prepare the 2-dimensional work for presentation, and each student gets to keep the frame piece when the exhibit is over. The creators of three-dimensional works received gift certificates provided by the DCAC and our local Blick Art Supply. So, here are the 2014 jurors' choices. In the kindergarten to second grade category, the two-dimensional choice, juror's choice was by Owen Rufino. They're in order. A second grader from Whitmore Bowles. Here's Mr. Cares. The title of his work is City at Night. Owen's not here?
He is not.
Okay.
Second grade.
Our teachers, the student certificates are laying in those yellow envelopes in front of the 3D work fair.
It's a second grader.
So if one belongs to one of your students, just take it away, give it to them.
Very nice, thank you.
The three-dimensional artwork in the kindergarten to second grade category was by Aya El-Zakir, a kindergartner from Oakman. I'm her teacher, and it was a shape book. Thanks, Maggie.
She here?
She's not here. Aya,
Aya is here, yeah.
She's right there.
Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a shout out or something, because I get involved here and I forget to make sure that whether the kids are here or not. Go Aya.
I'm sorry, tell us what grade again?
She's a kindergartner
Kindergarten.
Yeah, what school?
at Oakman.
Oakland.
School,
Very good. We were looking at the other one when you were talking.
Thanks, Aya. Good job, hon.
Good job.
Now don't leave without your certificate, okay? I've got one in an envelope for you. Don't leave without it. But that you have to give that back. Sorry. Well, you'll get it back. Go put it back over there. But it's on display. All these artworks are still on display at the Pajeski Gallery in the Civic Center until mid-July, I want to say. And the kids get them back. They just don't get them back today. Thanks, Aya. Next, in the third to fifth grade category, the two-dimensional artwork is by Khalid Al-Shari, a fourth grader from Salina Intermediate. Ms. Patroniti is his teacher, and the title is Big Bear.
I'm so not an artist.
Everyone has some artist in them.
It's just amazing when I see.
You know, just
the
your
work the
media,
kids
like
do.
gardening.
Yeah, big bear.
Exactly. Creativity.
Community.
He's so animated. And next, we have a three-dimensional work by Salah Hassan, a fourth grader from River Oaks. Mr. Cares is his teacher. It's called Transformation of Paper. Oh, Salah, good, you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
It's really 3D.
Sala, can you tell them a little bit about, we had a single sheet of paper, what were you supposed to do? Remember?
You weren't supposed to cut any of the pieces of the paper. So if you push this down flat on the floor, it'll turn into a regular piece of paper.
Correct. You can't move anything, you can't add anything, so no tape, no glue, and nothing like that. Nothing added and nothing lost, so.
Very good.
And thank you for coming.
It's like a Picasso or a Calder.
Oh, nice.
But make sure he gets his envelope. Okay, we're moving on to the 6th to 8th grade category. The two-dimensional choice was by Norhan Mujali, a 7th grader from Eunice. Ms. Kobasi is her art teacher, and it's called Negative Positive Design. You got those opposite colors on the color wheel going.
Yeah.
But what a difference between the way the
Yeah.
TV displays and the color here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. I've seen a kaleidoscope like this.
Yeah. Shine looks like that.
Yeah.
Thank you. The 3D Jurors Choice for that category was by Alexandria Rotert, an 8th grader from Stout. Ms. Butler is her teacher, and it's called 3D Zentangle. It's the unframed, yeah, that one. Really unusual, this one.
Yeah, it's coming out to get us.
Yeah.
3D? Come and get you.
That is neat. Thank you.
Wish I could see a little better.
In the 9th and 10th grade category, the two-dimensional juror's choice was by Jared Howell, a 10th grader from Edsel Ford. Mr. Martin is his teacher, and it's called George Harrison.
Here.
Oh, welcome, Jared.
I'm ready to start singing when I see that. That is a fantastic likeness.
Here comes the sun.
It looks like a self-portrait.
It is. It's very nice.
Did you do the other Beatles too, Cindy?
I drew John Lennon too.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
All things must pass.
Look at that. Yeah, that is
Thanks,
nice
Jared.
job.
Nice work. The three-dimensional juror's choice for that category was by Wadad Shadua, a 10th grader from Fordson. Ms. Patrick is our teacher, and it's called Necklace Without a Name. And Mr. Bazzi's going to show it off.
Mm-hmm.
This is all hand woven.
All handmade.
Takes a lot of patience and a lot of consideration for how they're gonna fall in.
Size, yeah. Wow.
Like medieval chainmail.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that was our first thought. Yeah.
Form and shape.
Very intricate.
Almost Egyptian.
Mm. Yeah, it kind of looks ancient.
For me?
It has an ancient
Yes.
quality to it. In the 11th and 12th grade category, the two-dimensional artwork was Marwa Nasser, 11th grade from Fordson. Mr. Bazzi is her art teacher, and the title is Red and Round.
Marwa is here.
Marwa? Oh, good.
Hi, how are you?
They want to be able to decide. So many intricate things.
Joe forget his glasses.
Oh, did he?
How did he
Count
drive
my
here?
contacts?
Thank you, Marwa. In the three-dimensional category, Kaylin Haggerty, a 12th grader from Dearborn High School, Ms. Domino is her teacher, created a necklace, titled it Fantasia.
Thank you.
It looks like maybe a lot of work with a jeweler's saw. Thank you. Intricate. Special needs category, the two-dimensional artwork is by Hussein Al-Hechami, SCI student from house school. I am his teacher, and it's untitled. It's that blue one. Hussein's really, he loves blue, and he definitely has his own aesthetic.
It's really nice. It's
yeah.
lovely. I do too.
It looks so much better in person than it does on TV, though. Look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't receive, a lot of our students receive a lot of help, but not him.
Wow.
He pretty much does his own work.
I know where I lost my button.
You've lost a lot of buttons.
Very nice.
Thank you, Mohammed. The three-dimensional artwork in that category is by Lorenzo Hernandez, a fifth grader from Nowlin. Ms. Russell is his teacher, and it has the coolest title. It's called The Hot of the Sun on the Cool of the Moon.
It's wonderful. It's nice to meet you. Can I read it? Can I see it? Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Good job. Very nice. Thanks.
Thanks.
Very nice. Good job.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks.
You're welcome. The hot of the sun and the cool of the moon.
Where's the hot sun? Oh, hot. The oranges and reds are the hot. They are hot. Yes. Get it?
Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you. This year's Superintendent's Award, entirely devised and supported by Brian Wisden, is by Mary Chirara, a 12th grader from Dearborn High School. Ms. Kubitsky is her art teacher, and the title is Childhood Memory.
I believe Mary is here.
Yeah.
And you can see the difficult job. How do you pick one?
Microphone.
I mean, how do you pick one? That's
Yeah.
difficult.
You do a pretty good job, Paul.
Yeah, you did.
It's a whole story in one single picture.
Love that picture. That's awesome. That's great.
It was hanging in my office. They had to take it down so she could show it.
Yeah, we wanted to show it on to the board. Plus, we want to appreciate you, Mr. Wiston, just for devising this award.
Thank you. That is a childhood memory.
Tell us how the superintendent awards work.
I had to walk to school too.
She contacts me when the award's up, and then I
And we hear
go over,
every-
and
oh,
she
you
and I
can
kind of
find.
go over and look at all the different art products, but then I pay for the framing and a gift to the student. And then it hangs in my office for a year, and then it gets returned to the student after a year.
And so, thank you. Our featured seniors this year each chose one of their works to be a part of the highlights of the Dearborn, the Citywide Art Show and Dearborn Society of Artists. So from Dearborn, we have Shadia Isaili, and she brought a ceramic piece to show. All of our senior artists are extremely talented. They are every year, but this is an especially impressive year, I thought.
So much detail.
Yeah.
Another story. Another story in ceramics. Just a whole story. From Edsel Ford, we have Claire Young. And once again, this piece is sort of an interesting story that you can think about when you look at it.
It's as big as she is.
I know.
Oh, Mohammed Bazzi just told me that. Claire is part of the pop group, and so is Mary Sharara, part of the pop group.
Great. Do you know when that's going to be unveiled to the public? October, I think, or
The
opening?
The tile mural is still sitting on all these tables in the warehouse. I think the tile mural's doing pretty well by itself, right? Thank you, Claire. Thank you.
Students have done with their part.
Yeah.
There's been delays in the opening of the train station because of disputes between federal government and Amtrak and local codes and stuff.
Yeah.
But so they can't really put it up until there's like a right moment construction-wise.
Yeah, so they're ready. The mural's ready. They're all ready. It's just that the other details that don't have to do with them need to get worked out.
Politics and bureaucracy.
Yeah. So thank you, Shadia and Claire. From Fordson, Miriam Saab is the senior artist. And Miriam, are you here today? No? Okay. She, another wonderful story in a picture. This is a picture of her father. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous drawing.
It's done with China marker, which is kind of like a wet pencil.
Oh my goodness. I can't even write my name with one of those things. Have you ever tried writing with one? Oh, is it?
You know, yeah. That's pencil? It's China marker, which is like a waxy pencil
Yeah.
on black paper.
Did she draw that? I have a hard time drawing a straight line with the China
I think
marker.
I photographed.
You know she did a good job because I recognized her father in the picture.
You know.
And he looks like he's tired. He's one of the hardest working men I know. So, good job.
And then for Michael Berry, Holly Edinger was the featured senior. Is Holly here?
Yep.
Oh, hi. Great. And hers is kind of another story. She sort of likes digital art, and so she likes stories and characters, creating characters.
Is there a title on that one? I missed it.
I don't know. Holly, does that one have a title?
Yeah, it's Let Down Your Hair.
Oh, Let Down Your Hair.
Yeah.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Thank you. So thank you to all the young artists that showed up this evening. With your kind permission, I would like to continue with the presentation that we have
Please do.
prepared regarding our course offerings and use of technology.
You have both reports in front.
The handout that I made for you looks like this, and includes my email right at the top in case you have any questions, thoughts, comments beyond tonight. The URL where our curriculum can be accessed online, because what I've got here is just the shortest, most truncated possible, because I didn't want to burden you with more than you wanted, and you can go online and scroll through our curriculum if you like. So where more detailed descriptions can be found. High school courses, I'll let you look at that at your leisure, I guess. And then a different way of putting it, a different kind of way of detailing it on the next page. middle school, and a little short statement about the elementary courses here. And then underneath that is another way to access our curriculum by going through the Dearborn Schools homepage. That gives you the steps to get to look at our curriculum if you need to. And then the last page is current art room technology. And it's just like it's a spreadsheet that most of the schools were able to fill out, saying whether they had that kind of technology in their art room or not. So that's all for your information. And then we need
David?
our PowerPoint, please. So what should I just press the up button or what?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Didn't
so
even know I
that's-
was in there. I missed that.
Okay, cool.
This one?
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, so this PowerPoint art is an integral and unique part of a child's core education, developing tools to navigate and interpret current and historic
Kate, I don't mean
images.
to interrupt you, but certainly all the scholarship winners and everybody who needs to leave, feel
Oh,
free
okay.
to,
Yeah.
if you would like to leave, so you don't feel like you're interrupting, but that's okay. Thank you for being here. Thanks,
Okay.
Kate.
Inspiring students in personal exploration through study creation and reflection. Next. Doesn't want to go. Oh, is it right, left? I'm sorry. Excuse me. We were using up, down.
Ironic that it talks about technology.
This, yes. I don't have
It
this
happens to me
technology
all
in
the
my
time.
room. This is just a slide showing students collaborating and communicating and developing critical thinking skills. Here's a student using technology, and then we've got a list of just the different ways that cameras can be used or are used. We don't all have cameras in our rooms, but when we do, these are all the different ways that we can use cameras. And by the way, the lens cap is on because this girl is just testing out the camera as far as weight and how it feels. You know, we want to protect the lens until she's ready to actually take a shot. Here's a shot of a student teaching other students by using a Promethean board. When we have that available to us, we like to try and involve the students as much as we can. This looks like using a video camera or an other kind of camera to create, in this particular shot, it looks like an animation where you take a shot, you move it a little bit, take the next shot, and so on. But these are all the other ways that when we have access to video cameras, these are the kind of things we can do with them. I would say that of our group, Sue Dolman would be the one that is most adept at that, because she does that the most. She runs a camp every year for kids, an animation camp. Here's students using technology in an art class to create self-portraits and include themselves in their own work, which is always thrilling for a student. So you can see some students, this is like a Hunter Vassar style artwork with the student included in it. This is a design class. Students making, it looks like they're designing chess pieces. And programs such as Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator are the sort of, they enable, like it says, enable students to manipulate photographs and other media. And here's an example of our latest art show postcard that students have been using software to design for a number of years now. And Heather Hartline was the designer of this one from Michael Berry Center. And the technology of the computer and the Google search is a good tool to use for exploring traditional media. Students often need or want pictures of specific things that you can Google and find for them to help them in their endeavors with drawing, painting, printmaking, collage, or sculpture. This slide is trying to illustrate the use of technology not only to just create something, but to also decipher the bombardment of media that comes into to students. If we teach them how to use it, then the hope is that they will be better able to discern what's real, what's not real. We know, for example, television commercials manipulate us continuously, and we feel like if students are more visually literate, that's not going to affect them as much. Every technology skill that we are talking about here are an example of these 21st century skills that are put forth in the idea of creativity, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. And as I said before, skills taught, developed, and refined in art classes through project-based learning and differentiated instruction. Here's a bullet points of more ways that we use technology. Research and lesson planning, computers for that, Promethean boards for teacher and student presentations, Elmo projectors for artwork sharing and demonstrations, printers, print art examples and assessments, digital cameras to document student artwork, slide projectors, overhead projectors, and the television for displaying images when Promethean boards are not available. Just a few examples of how art education uses the technology to enhance student learning. And it brings the art world into the classroom, and by that we don't just mean the contemporary art world, we mean all of art history and all of the vast cultural knowledge, the different cultures that we can experience through the visual arts. Our challenges. Wonderful things are happening in the art room. Our goal is to share and advance these experiences for all students. Many students are missing out on these experiences due to inconsistencies in technology from building to building. Lack of uniformity creates obstacles in lesson sharing and curriculum development. Dated equipment and software exacerbates these obstacles. We want to provide all students in the district the opportunity to utilize current technology in the art room to enhance their learning and achievement. Moving forward, we're continuing to use the technology to teach the 21st century skills, and we aspire to have consistent technology in all buildings so that we as art teachers can share valuable lessons and learning experiences. We would like to expand STEM into STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Clever.
STEAM transforms left brain challenges into whole brain design solutions. Here's a quote from Clifford V. Smith, president of the General Electric Foundation. GE hires a lot of engineers. We want young people who can do more than add up a string of numbers and write a coherent sentence. They must be able to solve problems, communicate ideas, and be sensitive to the world around them. Participation in the arts is one of the best ways to develop these abilities. The superintendent and the Board of Education have a history of supporting students through the arts by attending the citywide art show, attending Empty Bowls meals, recognizing student artists at board meetings, the Superintendent's Award, and purchasing the frames that you see hanging in the boardroom. The art department values and appreciates your continued support. See what we did there? There's Mr. Whiston, and there's Mr. Whiston again with that student and their work. It is in Apple's, this is from Steve Jobs, in Apple's DNA that technology alone is not enough. It's technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities that yields us the results that make our hearts sing. And there's a great picture. A lot of multicultural things going on there. And that's our last slide.
Trustee
Go
Lane?
around to the first.
Well, I thank you for the report. I asked for this because I don't think we do enough in emphasizing arts. I think art tends to be, at least after elementary, it tends to get siloed and set aside, and it's not included into the education or it's not included enough into the core curriculum. And I wish we could do more with it. Edsel Ford had a humanities program that weekly, it had a terrific program since the inception of the school, and it weekly brought in art and music teachers into English classes, I think primarily English, I don't think in any others, but I really wish that we could try that again. So many of our students now, with the core curriculum, with everything mandated, they have very little time for art education. And the quotes that you have here emphasize how important art education is to engineers. I know my kids went into engineering, but a lot of engineers are fine art. They're disguised artists.
I think it makes engineering better.
Right, and a lot of practical things. I mean, art has practical application every day. You can put plants in the ground, or you can do them well, and that's the case with a lot of things. So, I really wish that that the art department could lure in maybe, by after school programs or by 21st century grant or other ways that you could get more than just the traditional art student. I wish you could get some pre-med students and engineering students that are going into different curriculums, the more traditional student, because certainly knowing about art and art history influences design, and that's what engineering is. So, these days we're emphasizing so much engineering, hard sciences, the STEM, but I agree with you that we need to put some STEAM in STEM, and we don't have enough support for the arts. And art is such a gigantic an important part of our daily lives, but also our economy. I mean, that's one of our main exports from the United States, our arts, music, movies, so many things
Well, and
that we export to the whole world.
And not only that, we have something I was reading, it talks about how we have more problem solving or divergent thinkers, people who look at a problem in a different way and come up with solutions. Yeah. And to me, that's a part of the arts provenance. That's a part of what we do in the art room, is we help people who maybe they're not gonna paint, be a great painter, but they're gonna go into medical field or engineering and see a problem, and because they've had some training in the arts, those pathways in their brain are formed. They can look at a problem in a different way, not just line things up and try to solve it that way, but scatter them around and put things together in a new way so that there's a solution formed that might not have occurred otherwise. I don't know. That's what I think that's part of what the arts do for people.
I agree.
Trustee Schoolmaster, please.
Yes, I'd like to reiterate Ms. Lane's statements, but also indicate how important the community as a whole feels that art is. $26 million was given today, as you know, by the big three, and the DIA has raised $70 million out of $100 million that they pledged to, to go to Detroit. And so art education is something that we cannot take lightly. It's something that the community buys into, and buys into big.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Want to thank Kate and all of the teaching staff for being here this evening and for the great work that you do each and every day in our classroom that brings this art alive to our students, and just the tremendous talent you all have, and the tremendous talent you bring out of our students. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's what we're all about.
Thank you. Great report. Thank you. Next item, please.
Acknowledgement of donations.
Before I do that, I forgot to finish up on our scholarships. You do have a report in your packet that totals up the scholarships for the 3 schools. Over $2.5 million at Dearborn High, about $6.2 million at Fortson, and I don't see a total on Etzel Ford, and I couldn't add it up quick enough.
1.3.
What is it?
1.3, I think.
1.3.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, all right, we'll add it up too.
I think you told us 6.6.
Yeah. So it's very exciting, all the awards and scholarships, and certainly some of those are from colleges, but as you see, a lot of them are listed from different associations, groups that give them out. So thank you to all those who do that to help our
And these are
students.
actually scholarships that will be used.
Yes, these are not scholarships, because kids will get scholarships and then, get 4 offers and only choose to accept 1 to that kind of thing. So these are supposed to be
Actual
real scholarships.
Great.
Our students honor us by these $6 million in scholarships.
But I think it's pretty amazing that a student gets 4 offers. And
Yes.
there are some
It is.
students
Oh, absolutely.
there are some students that have to choose between which full ride scholarship am I going to take, and that's pretty awesome in itself.
Oh, that's very awesome.
Nice.
Congratulations to them and their
Yes.
parents and staff.
We just had a student turn down a full ride scholarship to Ann Arbor to go to Harvard. Great options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
That's
kidding.
right, Trustee Schoolmaster. We are honored to work.
I am
with
shocked.
what they do. We're not shocked, but they
Harvard?
honor us with the work that they do.
Not Harvard.
But trustee Schoolmaster's point, I'd like to reiterate his point. I just read for the Kalamazoo Promise, they've had, and I don't remember their numbers, 54 million or something like that, 5,000 students maybe who have been affected by the Kalamazoo Promise. And maybe more importantly for their Board of Education, it's increased enrollment in Kalamazoo Public Schools, of course, so.
And we know our
It
own.
all feeds back to
We know
a
our
virtuous
Collegiate Academy
circle.
that pays for the 2 years of college. We had parents tell us they chose Dearborn because of that option. So we know that happens.
You know, that might be an excellent thing for you to bring before the board. Tell us how much money parents have saved in, advanced
can do a report
enrollment, the
once the
Collegiate
final- Yep.
Academy. And,
Absolutely.
The types of programs that we're offering right now for individuals. Dual enrollment, sure.
And we've
Absolutely.
asked for the marketing, so.
Yep.
We understand, we just had that discussion. Marketing does help the city, the community. Most important, helps property values.
Absolutely, Hussein.
Just
No, most
big
important, the
circle comes around.
students.
No, but
What's that?
The students, the
Yep.
families.
Most important,
But it was
Talking about the marketing.
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
But it was a
Scholarship,
great
talking about
idea,
marketing.
but I would suggest that, we approach the Kalamazoo Promise when you look at things like dual enrollment and things of that nature.
Absolutely. All right, 6 donations, totaling almost $44,000 from the Education Foundation, given out in the following 6 items. A donation of $499 has been offered to O.L. Smith by the Dearborn Education Foundation to be used for supplemental materials for 6th grade Daily 5 Cafe. A donation of $5,725 has been offered to the Michael Berry Career Campus by the Education Foundation to be used for Innovative Vehicle Design Club Platform Program. Donation of $3,216 has been offered to Howard Elementary School by the Dearborn Education Foundation to be used for classroom Promethean boards. Donation of $2,500 has been offered to Fortson High School by the Dearborn Education Foundation to be used for the material for the choral music program. A donation of $2,500 has been offered to McCullough Unit Schools by the foundation to help in the STEM program. Donation of $29,500 has been offered to the district math department by the Education Foundation in partnership with the Ford Fund to be used for district-wide equipment and technical support for our high school math curriculum. Again, almost $44,000 in donations from the foundation and the Ford Fund.
Okay, thank you. Anything under other? No other? Next item, please.
Special reports, high school graduate intervention specialist, Mr. Brian Whiston, Dr. Gail Shankman.
Dr. Shankman and her team of interventionists are going to come forward and give a very exciting report on ties into scholarships, because certainly the more kids that we get to graduate, we know they become more successful in life. And so these are our 3 high school graduation specialists, and they're part of an 8-step plan to help us improve graduation rates.
It's my pleasure to introduce our graduation intervention specialists. We have Kareem Naimi from Etzel Ford High School, Chuck Silver from Fordson High School, and Chris Miner from Dearborn High School, and they'll take it over.
Thank you. Good morning, or sorry, good evening, board members. It's been a long day, apparently.
Please don't say that.
You know, we wanted to start by saying that we really stand as kind of a representative symbol of the district's commitment to on-time graduation. We know we play a singular role as part of our buildings, and we know that the good news that we are excited to share with you tonight is really a sample of what that our buildings are doing. Teachers, counselors, really every able-bodied person in the building, they've taken this commitment to on-time graduation very seriously. And in our district as a whole, with the 8-step plan that Mr. Whiston referenced, which I believe just recently received an award for excellence, clearly the district's commitment, I think, is kind of a shining example to everybody around the state about what it really means to go all in for on-time graduation. And the good news is that, I mean, we're seeing definite results, incredibly impressive and positive results. The graduation specialist position started in the 2011-2012 school year. So when we look at on-time graduation rates, you can kind of see where we were to where we are now. In 2011 to 2013, which is the last set of data that we have available, we've increased on-time graduation in our district by over 10%, which it's hard to find that kind of success when you look around the state. A lot of districts are really struggling with this issue, and we seem to be headed definitely in the right direction. Even our 5-year graduation rates are headed in that same direction. They're kind of a year behind, so you know, we don't have quite the jumps necessarily on paper, but when you can see where our 4-year graduation rates are, that's the starting point for our 5-year graduation rates, and so we're seeing that same direction there as well. You know, even kids that aren't making it on time, kids that have really fought to try to graduate and didn't quite make it, you know, they're not quitting on us, families aren't quitting on us, teachers aren't quitting, and we're seeing that those kids are able to complete their diplomas and move on to the next level. You know, as good as the present is for us, the numbers that we look at, kind of how things are going down the road, just continue to suggest that we have just bigger and bigger things ahead of us. If you look at the different cohort years, seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, we're simply seeing that kids are much closer to graduation each year that they're in high school than they were 2 years ago, a year ago. And we're seeing that year after year gains. And what that tells us is a freshman class that's significantly closer to where they're supposed to be at the end of their freshman year means they're closer as sophomores, closer as juniors, and by the time they're seniors, we're simply not going to lose as many by the time that comes. And I think it also kind of has set a tone, a culture in our buildings about what we expect from students and families. You know, kids know now if they're not successful in a class, it's not if they're going to go to summer school or after school credit recovery classes, it's how soon, because they know that they don't want to be behind. They don't want to be a number that's not getting to that stage for graduation. And so as we look forward, we're simply expecting better and better things. And the 8-step plan that Mr. Whiston referenced simply means as all those pieces become part of the culture all through the district, we're going to be getting situations that are better for our kids. We're getting kids better prepared, more caught up, skills that are where they should be, and that's simply going to make our jobs easier when they get to that high school level. So that kind of takes us to where we're headed. I referenced that really it's a kind of a pre-K through college plan with all the different programs that we have. We're simply going to, as graduation specialists, as those programs become better defined and as that success continues, we're going to learn how our role is better defined to help those kids finish. As a group, we continue to work on finding ways to prevent problems. We continue to look for where there might be areas of opportunity, and with every group that might be a different situation, so we look for those ways to prevent kids from stumbling instead of always looking just to catch them up, but how do we keep them from failing in the first place? And of course, we're always have a watchful eye around the district, around the state, around the country. We're constantly looking for programs that we think fit, our district and what our goal and our mission is to try to make sure that we're doing the best job that we can and providing the best experience for our students that we can. And so we're very excited about where we are, and we're very hopeful that this is simply the start of even better things to come. And the last thing I wanted to say is, as Dearborn has kind of started to show this progress, I know a couple of us have gotten phone calls from other districts asking about our program and what we do and what our job looks like. And the first thing I tell them is we have a district that's very committed to this goal, enough so that they would put people in a position to make this our primary focus. And I can tell you from conversations I've had with other people that not every district, or they don't believe that their district would be that committed. So it's exciting for us to be able to work in a district where the commitment is so clear and the support is so clear for what we do. Is there any questions?
Trustee Lane?
Well, I know it's mostly about your hard work, but I just wonder, I hear a lot, and I try to say to people also, part of it is a culture shift, that students and families need to know that not graduating so seriously impairs their future. I think the unemployment rates are double for people with high school diploma or less, so it's just really critical all around, and no matter how you study it, health, education, long-term employment and earnings, you're better off almost always the more you pursue. So I think a part of that is the cultural message, and I'm sure you're part of getting that out, but we just always need to say that. So
For sure.
Trustee McDonald?
I just want to thank you for what you do, because it is so important that the students realize that they're not just another number. They're an individual, and you're going to know what their status is, and if they do need some help, they're going to get it. And I think that's important, and all of you do that every day.
I think we've said this in years past. Our families and the families of the Dearborn schools are so committed to, their children getting a good education that it really is a great situation to work with. They'll do anything. They want their kids to have the best education, so it makes our job very satisfying.
Can you expand on that a little bit? You said, you three are the front line, you do talk to the families.
Sure.
What kind of feedback do you get from the family? Because usually I hear that, families don't care. But,
I think that's a grave misconception. It's
Thank you.
when you have students that are failing classes or having trouble with attendance or that are in trouble, that family is not invested in their kid, or they don't spend time with their kid, they don't discipline their kid. It could not be further from the truth. We've all had families that cry in our office, and we cried with them at times. Not that I want to admit that on camera, but we've cried with them at times, and we've struggled with them at times. Our families care deeply, and sometimes they just don't know what to do, and sometimes we don't either. But that's what our job is. We try to find ways to help them navigate, the personnel in the building that can help them navigate. But our families, they care deeply about their children graduating and to a level I think that really would surprise a lot of people. So I think that was the biggest surprise for me. I thought, I might be working with some kids who maybe their families wouldn't be so supportive, and I would just be trying to help the student in spite of their families. Couldn't have been further from the truth. Our families are incredibly supportive. They really want to do whatever it takes. They just need help and guidance to get there, and that's a lot of what our job is, helping them navigate.
What you
through
just
them.
said means the world to me, because, for a long time, I've been hearing that, parents just don't care. I've never met a parent that doesn't care about their kids, but you bring it out and you help them and you guide them. You reach out to the parents and they will work with you, especially if they show the care and passion that you do.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Mr. President, if I may?
Please.
Certainly the board of I'm sorry, is there a board member?
Just a quick question. Are you the ones that monitor who's on time or who's not? Is it referred to by the counselors? How do we identify the students that need your help?
Well, we track students by a number of different factors,
Okay.
attendance and grades and behavior. We're looking for problems really before they're problems. But in terms of who's on time, who's on track to be on time, that really has to do with the number of credits that they earned at various stages in their high school career.
And you're
So,
the ones that watch that.
and so we watch those things, and when a student's not on track, then certainly we intervene, or we try to do it even before they've officially fallen off track. If we see that they're headed that direction, then we watch report card grades and those things and try to step
And I
in.
would hope other teachers and people on staff, if they see something, that they refer to you ASAP.
Cafeteria workers,
Yeah.
social workers, bus drivers,
Good,
truly,
good.
I mean, everybody that,
Everybody's.
anybody that we ask to be a part of that is eager to help.
Trustee McDonald?
Just one more comment. Sometimes what is so important is just for the parents to know that they have a partner in the school district. And one-on-one, you become the partner with that parent. And that parent knows who to turn to. They get at least weekly updates on, yes, my child is doing well or isn't doing well or needs some help. And they have a direct person to go to if they have questions or concerns. And it's a partnership. And that's what we're all in it, to make this partnership for that student to succeed. And I think that just lets the children know that we're here, and the parents know that they're there, and it works. It works really well. First-hand experience, I know.
All right, Mr. President, really, the Board of Education deserves the credit for the growth we've seen here, because it was the Board of Education who made this part of, my goals and direction of the district, and certainly Dr. Shankman, her team, but Ed Nottaberry and the whole team, K-12, who has been working on every step of this. But it's really the Board of Education who made this a focal point, made it a direction for us to follow. So certainly from Nottaberry's early interventions to our high school graduation interventionists and every step in between, and Dr. Shankman's work that is making it happen. But certainly the board deserves the credit because you made it a focal point. So I congratulate the Board of Education on the great work you guys are
If
doing.
anybody in the audience has a comment, you know what, I have no problem, somebody wants to step up to the mic. But Chris, I want to say something. You were talking about the 5-year graduation that you didn't have the same increase. If you look at the data, with the increase you have for online, on-time graduation, I don't expect that increase same as, because you got less students that you're working with, if you think about it.
Well, it's true. And
Yeah.
it's true. We're getting more kids to that finish line
On
quicker.
time, so you
But
got
the
less.
good news is our overall graduation percentage and the reduction of our dropout percentage, that 4-year graduation rate becomes then the starting point for 5th year. So that 5th year graduation rate, for example, for the class of 2013, is going to start at the district at 86%, but it's going to be more than that because we've caught kids up and gotten them through. So and the numbers will continue to look good. They'll just take a little longer because it's a 5-year rate instead of a
Sure,
4-year
sure.
rate. It's going to be good news. I feel very confident about that.
We all appreciate what you do every day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next report?
How parents can support learning during the summer. Mr. Brian Whiston, Dr. Gail Shankman, Dr. Jill Chokol.
Again, the Board of Education asked us to come up with some helpful hints that parents can do to help their kids maintain their growth that they've received throughout the year and continue to grow during the summer and not have the summer loss. So we do have a quick report from Dr. Shankman and Dr. Chokol, and then also they've been working on some videos that will be up that parents will be able to get through the computer and other ways to see helpful hints on what to do for homework. So Dr. Chokol, Dr. Shankman. Yep.
Good evening. Well, summer is absolutely the best time to prepare for success for the following year. With many students not in school 6 and 7 hours a day, parents have a wonderful opportunity to read and write with their children every day, as well as take part in all of the wonderful activities and venues that are available in the Metro Detroit area. So in addition to reading and writing every day, working on problem solving, there's lots of activities that parents can engage in, including cooking together at home, reading recipes, involving and engaging with their students and all of the everyday things that happen around the house, but making sure that students actively sit down and read anything that they want to read every single day and then write about it are two of the best ways to maximize not only on the progress children have made throughout the school year, but also to prevent what is called and is commonly known as summer learning loss. So students can lose up to 6 months of their academic gains through the summer if they're not engaged in learning activities. So again, parents have a great opportunity to engage in these types of things. So lots of other things, visiting the library every week, visiting bookstores, starting a journal, doing a response journal with your child, writing to them and having the child write back. Those are some of the many ways that parents can engage with children. So there'll be a handout on our district website. So if you're interested in checking that out, parents, you can check on the website. There's a lot of information there for you.
And
so.
our libraries will be open during
Our
the summer.
elementary school libraries will be open a half day every week, so that in addition to our wonderful Centennial Library, the elementary school libraries will be available for book checkout and book talks a half a day a week. So parents should check with the school to find out the half day and the hours, because those will vary from morning to afternoon. Usually 9 to 12 or 12 to 3 or 1 to 4 are the hours, and the media specialists are rotating among all of the schools to keep the libraries open.
I have a
Trustee
question.
McDowell?
Go ahead. If a student, say, there's a preschool student that isn't in school yet, but their parent would like to take them to their local school library, is that fine? Do they need special permission since that child is not necessarily a student of that school, or?
Well, no, if they're a neighborhood family and they live in that neighborhood, they're welcome to come visit the library over the summer.
Okay, wonderful.
Trustee Lane?
I'd just like to know, I mean, it's terrific, and parent education is so important. So I'd like to know, besides on the website, will these handouts be going home with kids? Or how are we going to publicize it, and the library openings as well? I don't know whether there's a sign that can be put outside the school, open today or whatever, but it'll be important to get the word out to people. So
Yes, every school is publicizing the half day and the hours in a different way. The monthly newsletter will have the day and the hours posted. Schools do lots of different things, including summer learning packets. We have book babysitters at some schools where the students are asked to take care of some books and babysit them over the summer. So they're asked to take 5 or 10 books home and then read them, and certainly trade them out during one of the weekly times that are available. Schools with signs in the front will have those posted so that people can drop in. And I know there are other schools that are planning storytellers and some other activities around the libraries that will be open this summer. So they're pretty excited about it.
Again, I just want to say that's wonderful, because like in my neighborhood, the Snow Library closed. So now you have access to a library.
Right, so
through-
it's very close to hopefully most families.
Absolutely.
closer.
Yeah.
Dr. Choker, I just attended a ceremony for elementary age students in our community, and this organization honored the parents on how well the students did over the summer, how many books they read, and they had different categories, and they actually had the parents there with some small gift, but they honored the parents. I just thought, wow, that's an interesting concept.
Well, we know parents are our children's, first teachers.
Sure.
And ongoing, and certainly that kind of modeling and demonstration supports the students even better than anything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much the same is true for middle school and high school students. They also should be reading every day, and they should be reading books that they'll enjoy reading. Magazines on their favorite subjects. Nonfiction reading is especially valuable. The same kind of summer learning loss occurs all the way through the grades, so students need to use it, or maybe they might lose it. Parents and students can enjoy reading books that they share common interest in. What a great opportunity to talk to your young adolescent if you read a book of something that you're both interested in. For example, sports or fashion, a great opportunity to discuss what you've read. Students should be keeping a daily journal. They should join a library book club. And our libraries in the middle school will also be open. Salina Intermediate, Lori and Eunice will be open from 11 to 2 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And all of our other middle schools on Tuesday and Thursday from 11 to 2. We will make sure they're on the signs. That was an excellent idea, besides being on the website and also in newsletters that are going home. Math is another thing that we need to practice over the summer, and sometimes we don't think about that. So practicing mental math while shopping. How much will this cost if you add the tax? Cooking and baking, as Dr. Chokel said, measuring, doubling, or halving a recipe. Home projects like calculating the square footage for lawn care products, perhaps, for paint, for carpeting. And we also have available for our middle schoolers a program called catchupmath.com. It's good experience for kids. Our kids in the summer school blended program in middle school will be using it. But if you're not sending your child to that program and you're interested in that at catch-up math, see your middle school principal. We'll get out that information, but they'll need a password to get in. But we have enough licenses so we can offer that to everybody. Turn family trips into geography lessons, map reading and directions, even if you do have a GPS. And license plate games are always fun too. And then there's real-world science lessons, recycling, of course, growing plants indoors and outdoors, and observing wildlife on all seasons in Michigan. Some good parent-family activity ideas can be found at a lot of different websites, and I'll just name a few. BarnesandNoble.com, Scholastic, you can just Google Barnes & Noble or Scholastic, and PBS has some good information for you as well. So we'll be making sure to get this info out. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Short video.
Although summer loss is a serious concern to teachers and administrators, specifically with struggling students, it can be easily preventable.
So over the summer, all those old-fashioned things that I used to do as a child, getting outside and using bubbles, children can poke them with their finger, isolate that, or clap them, or stomp on them.
Dearborn Public Schools District has always been innovative in taking preventive measures to address such concerns, and one of them is summer learning.
Your child should be very familiar with this poster. This poster is in every single classroom in the Dearborn Public Schools, kindergarten through 5th grade. And really what this is a kind of a guide on how to pick what we call good fit books. Good fit books simply means books that they can read.
Getting the sidewalk chalk out and drawing pictures and letters and names on the driveway with their sidewalk chalk is a great way to practice those writing skills.
Our children wait for the summer break to relax, play with friends, and of course, play their video games.
Writing a letter to a teacher or a family member instead of calling. We forget about picking up a pencil and writing a letter. We don't do that so often, and people love to receive mail.
You can control what your kids play on these devices. There are many apps and games that could be used as educational tools to benefit your children. Here, I'm going to show you how to download some of these apps on any Apple device.
So in the car, you can play a basic ABC game. Some of you may have even played this before, and you won't even realize you're increasing your child's language skills. You start out with the letter A. So let's say you start with the A, and a child sees an apple orchard, or a sign for an apple orchard, or a sign for Annapolis Street. What letter does that start with? The letter A. Okay. We're done with A. Let's move on to the letter B.
Cooking is another really great way to practice math, reading, everything. Have them follow a recipe. And they're reading, following the recipe. They're having to measure. That's a great thing. Better yet, double a cookie recipe. They get more cookies, and they're having to add fractions at the same time.
Turn off those screens, go outside, get out the bikes, get out the rollerblades, go to the park, have them help around the house, and go have some fun.
So obviously we just showed snippets of various things that will be online and we'll be able to show them on the TVs and online for parents to get help on things they could do this summer.
Great ideas.
Yes. Thank you.
You know, I think it's it's important how parents approach things too. You know, I know that even myself as a parent, you know, when a kid's in trouble, the first thing you want to tell them is, you're going to sit down and read for 20 minutes. And I try to stop myself from doing that because I don't ever want my kids to see reading or math as a punishment. And so what I try to do is take all of their fun toys away from them and tell them, if you get bored, then read a book. You know, and it's amazing how much they'll read when it's their idea or their choice to do it. You know, versus punishing, or quote unquote punishing them by doing it.
And I think, you know, I had a teacher one time that my kids had, they said, I don't care if they read a comic book.
Yeah.
I don't care if they read a magazine. Just read. So if they pick up anything, it doesn't necessarily have to be a book.
Yeah.
I always leave the cereal box in front of them in the morning.
Yeah, there you go.
And reading to younger students too. You know, siblings reading to younger siblings is always good. Or the dog.
Little ones love that.
Dogs
Or their
love to
dolls,
hear
or
books.
dolls even.
Yeah, dogs
Toys.
love to have books read to them.
There's one suggestion on this list that I just love. Take pictures of them sitting on the dryer reading in a closet with a flashlight. You know, it's a cute, and put together an album of all the places. I think that's really fun. That would be fun. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Selfies reading. Here I am reading something else. The newest fashion craze.
Good stuff. Next item, please.
Okay.
Special consideration of an action item. Are there any agenda items on this agenda which board members or the superintendent wish to discuss and vote on separately? If so, we'll exclude them from the motion.
I do have a question.
Yep.
It's more of a philosophical one, if I could just ask it in advance. Superintendent Whiston, I noticed that we've got, as usual, lots of book purchases. And I wondered whether our book purchases will be affected by the core curriculum, whether.
The Common Core?
Yeah, the Common
Right,
Core,
the
every
Common
time
Core.
we make purchases, we're verifying that it's
Oh,
aligned
so
with the Common
we are,
Core.
okay,
Yep.
all right.
And we have found out some things that haven't and are working on some alternatives.
Okay.
Move that action items numbered 1 through 16 be approved as recommended in this agenda.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion support. Are there any other questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, motion will carry.
Summary,
please.
Number 1, approval of warrants, which are items for payment by the district and have been reviewed by the administration. Number 2, approval of wireless provider. Number 3, approval of textbooks and material for 7th grade social studies program. 4, approval of bond contract changes. Number 5, approval of asbestos-containing wood floor at the Heights campus. Number 6, approval of replacement of water heaters at Etzel Ford and Lindbergh. Number 7, approval of garbage waste removal contract. Number 8, approval of Read 180 EE Stage C program for ACE. Number 9 through 11, approval of non-instructional and instructional personnel items for P12. Number 12, approval of financial statements. 13, approval of tax levy resolution. 14, approval of 2014-2015 Board of Education meetings. Number 15, approval of district membership in the MHSAA. Number 16, approval of donations.
Thank you. Next item, please. Discussion items.
Discussion items. Naming of Dearborn Schools Heights campus. Mr. Brian Weston.
Yep, as we talked to the board members on the naming of the campus, that we were taking back control from the college, we recommending that it be called the Dearborn Public Schools Heights campus. And so I think the board was okay with that, but you have to take official action so that you're naming of a building and not me. So that's all this is, and there's not any questions.
That will come forward on the next agenda.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have a comment?
Please.
I just wanted to say that I'm excited about this building being named this. I think that in the city of Dearborn, in the public schools, that there's a segment of the community that has always been an add-on, so to speak, and not necessarily do they feel like they're part of our community, in which they are a huge part of our community. And I think that by naming this building the Heights campus, it pays homage to that section of the community that needs to be stood out. And so I'm actually quite thrilled that we're naming it the Heights campus.
Agreed. And having been a resident of
Yeah.
River Oaks for years, I would agree. I'm sure they'll
It's
be
about
very,
time.
very happy with this choice.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else?
So it's going to be Dearborn Public Schools, Dearborn Heights campus?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Sounds
Next
good.
item?
2013-14 second budget revision, Board Report 13-172. Mr. Brian Whiston, Mr. Samuel Barna.
And you'll probably do these together. It's the 13-14 second revision and the first look at 14-15.
Didn't see them, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Good evening, President Barry, trustees, Superintendent Whiston. As you see, I can really clear a room almost with this topic, so I'm glad that I wasn't following the artists and everyone else immediately. I know this isn't an exciting topic, however, it is obviously very critical to the school district. And just really going over the first presentation here, which is really a reiteration of what you've seen back in March of this year. And it's really the current 13-14 budget as amended here. Just wanted basically go through here and go through the slides just to do a reiteration of our original budget of enrollment of 19,195 students. We amended the budget earlier this year, 19,450. Really, we had that $2.1 million increase in revenue, which translated to that incremental amount times the $8,360 per pupil. I do want to add that we actually have, this is our budgeted figures, we actually have over 19,000, well over 19,500 students. So again, a conservative approach, and again, we're looking at budgeted numbers here specifically. So as you can see here, as I just alluded to, is the revenue for 13-14, with obviously corresponds with.
Is it coming up, David? It's not coming up.
It's coming up here.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Here we go. Just
Thank
like
you.
magic.
Magic.
So Dave has got the magic pen.
We knew that. So, thank you, David. The 13-14 original budget in dollars here is a little shy of $171 million. 13-14 amended is 178 and change. That variance of 7.9, just as a reminder, is mainly due from what they call the MIPSR's UAL rate stabilization, and basically it's a pass-through. It's $5.8 million that we're receiving throughout the year in 11 monthly installments, and it's a pass-through. Again, we take in the $5.8 million for the year, and we're giving it right back to the state for just to keep our MIPSR's retirement rate down. In addition to that is the $2.1 million, as just discussed, for the increased enrollment. Again, the expenses are matching, so we have a balanced budget. We actually had a little less than 19 FTEs of teachers that we hired, the teaching staff for the classrooms. We reinstated the class size stipend within the budget. We never actually took it away, but from a budgetary perspective, we put that on the chopping block, but we put that back, obviously, into the budget. That resulted in approximately $440,000 of expenses that we had last year. And then we also increased our unit budgets by approximately $100,000 for substitute savings that we experienced last year. So we shared with our buildings because they supported us last year. In addition to that, we had a DFT healthcare payment, which is what we're making in the next couple of weeks before June 30th. The DFT and Chris Sipperly specifically allowed us to pay that and delay payment, and so we'll be making that $133,000 payment due to basically a law that passed last year. It's actually PA 152, just a change in our calculation of our healthcare costs, so that means we really have to give back this $133,000 to the DFT. And then finally some miscellaneous operating expenses, which made up that amount of money. So just to show what the original budget was versus the amended budget, again, it's really the general fund, the net effect is $500,000 if you look at the general fund balance. That's due to the transfer agreement to what we were speaking about previously, which is the Heights campus. Obviously, it's a $1.5 million purchase price. That initial $500,000 payment will be made by June 23rd. And so that's reflected here in the fund balance from 7.8 currently to $7.3 million. So again, is there any questions in regards to this year's amended budget?
As children go into the collegiate academy and we get paid for 5 years, and so that will naturally increase our budget significantly.
We will receive funding for those 5 years, and quite frankly, a large portion towards the end does go to the college, but rightfully so.
That's correct.
But we
It's
still
still
do
only
receive full
$80
funding.
a credit hour.
That's correct. There's a huge savings to obviously the intent to target our students and the families of our students who are well deserving, and so absolutely. But to answer your question, we do receive funding for those 5 years. That is
And so once again, it's really
I mean, we
important for
will
us
give you
to
a
push.
report on the breakdown of funding, because we pay a lot more than the $80 credit hour, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we can give you that report, sure.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
And I do want to know, we hope to do better than the 7.3, but that's at least the baseline.
Yeah, small caveat. I like to be conservative. However, I also want to be practical. And again, since things change, very rapidly in terms of expenses, and I just want to let you know, just like I did last year, I cut off spending internally here in April, and really I'm only allowing, for the most part, title-funded, projects and title fund expenditures. in addition to any, obviously, catastrophes or any emergencies or just some whoopses. Oops, I forgot to do this, can you help me out? So we are allowing those one-time items as we see fit. But for the most part, you know, until we get all the expenses in and we have a full grasp of what the salaries are, I'm keeping it budget neutral, but I'm hoping to be obviously favorable as I normally am.
Now, the state is talking about 125 per pupil, is that correct?
Well, there were actually three proposals: the executive, obviously the governor's approach, the executive approach, which translated into what I baked into the next presentation, which is the 14-15 budget. But then there's also varying degrees of funding from both the Senate as well as the House. And so it varies wildly, and as I'm going to allude to in my presentation, they're meeting tomorrow morning, and so really it's a moot, you know, it's going to change drastically, the presentation I'm about to give you.
We hope.
But it does vary from as little as $50 from what we've heard recently per pupil next year to some of the higher funded districts such as ourselves on average, to as much as $250 per pupil. I believe that was the Senate proposal, if I'm not mistaken. So 14-15 budget, 13-14 again, just to reiterate, 19,450 FTE. Taking a little bit larger approach. Usually we budget kind of neutral in terms of enrollment. I'm going a little bit higher. Again, last year comparing budget, or I should say this year comparing budget to what we actually came across, it was 255. So it's still pretty conservative, the approach we're taking here, only 135 more. So I think that's very reasonable. That translates directly into $2.7 million when you couple it with the assumption of an $83 per pupil increase in state aid funding. So just to be clear, again, it's
Plus the retirement
135,
funding.
exactly. And so that again is assuming all categoricals stay as is and all funding for retirement stays as is. That's again a huge stretch. However, that's the best information that we really have. It's still, you know, we're wait and see mode, and hopefully we'll have something, if not tomorrow, by the end of the week out. That's my best guess. So what we have here, the next page is our expenses. The 2.7 translates for us into 14 net teaching positions, but just to be very specific regarding that, we actually had an increase of over 20 some odd teachers throughout that we're expecting for next year. However, we're cutting at the secondary level, or I should say at the elementary level, I apologize, which will give us a net increase of only 14 additional teaching positions. And I took a very conservative approach when I budgeted those expenses at a higher salary range, because you don't know who we're going to be having come in the door. And that translates into $1.84 million. Then we have student assessment. We budgeted $250,000 for testing in addition, because again, that's another item that we're basically just in a wait-and-see approach and seeing what the state's going to come back with their testing and assessment assumptions for next year. Due to the fact that we've had a really terrible winter, the gas prices per cubic foot have gone up considerably even now. So in order to be conservative with our estimates for the commodity purchase price, not the usage, because in terms of usage, we're doing very good with monitoring and with what basically the agreement that we have with Johnson Controls and monitoring all of our equipment. This is strictly the pure purchase commodity price of natural gas, so we're increasing it by $220,000. Title funded positions that are currently title funded this year, unfortunately next year there's going to be approximately 2 FTE that we are going to have to pick up on the general fund side, as well as some testing materials that were previously covered by title funds. That's approximately $190,000. And then we're transferring over to building and site in addition to our current budget of $360,000, so there'll be a total budget next year for building and site funded from the general fund of approximately $510,000. And so unfortunately, as Amy and I were speaking earlier, a couple of years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, Amy, it was,
Well, it was
maybe a little bit longer.
years ago.
I'm sorry?
14 years ago.
8 to 10 years ago.
We'll just go with
The district was
Just makes me sound really old when I've been on the board for 14 years.
That wasn't my intention. However, the bottom line is there was approximately $5 to $6 million being spent out of the building and site fund, which is obviously funded from the general fund.
Yeah, we
now we're
transferred
looking at a
$5 to
total
$6
budget of
million every
$500,000 next year. And again, the bond covers very specific items. These are items that the bond cannot cover. that we have to cover ourselves. And an example of that is our Hague gym floor. Another example is our drop-off line at Hague. There's also, this evening, there was some water, some water heaters. $300,000 for water heaters at Lindbergh as well as Etzel Ford. So again,
And
these
just
are
keeping up on maintenance.
absolutely. And
You know,
so
just the
again,
minor
this money,
things.
it does sound like a lot of money, but it goes very quickly when you are as large of a district as we are.
With older buildings.
Yes, but maintained very well.
Oh, absolutely,
So-
absolutely. But
so
you
we're
have
gonna-
to pay to do that.
We do. It's much like your home, but on a grander scale. And then we have $100,000 dedicated to ACE and STEM programs. This is partly due to a secretary position as well as Read 180 and also classroom supplies. So what you're seeing here is a very detailed breakdown of what I just described to you. The first column shows our 2012-13 audited financials. The middle column shows our 13-14 amended budget that I spoke about previously, as well as the expected 14-15. That will change dramatically this week. And the explanation that I just described, but in a different format to the far right column for each of those line items. I do want to make a special note again, the fund balance end of year. As of right now, we're expecting at the end of next year, 14-15, to have about $1 million less in our fund balance due to the fact that we're purchasing, obviously, the Heights campus. So I just want to be
I just
very
want to
clear.
clarify, we're not purchasing the Heights campus, we own it.
Well, we own it,
We're
the transfer
reimbursing them
agreement
for costs.
specifically, yes.
Right.
I'm sorry, I misspoke there. That's exactly what I meant by that. Last page, watch points. State funding, obviously, speaking about it, kind of beating it like a dead horse, but the bottom line is it's all up in the air, and we're just anxiously awaiting what the outcome will be. Wayne County millage, obviously coming up early August, as well as something that's very crucial to us, which approximately is $40 million of operating revenue, and that's our hold harmless millage and operating renewals. And again, these are renewals coming up in November, and so that's critical for us. Questions?
Trustee Shellis?
We talked about this earlier, but I just feel the need to reiterate it, that I hope that we have answers this week, but I'm not going to hold my breath because I don't have that much faith and confidence in our state legislature at this point, given past experiences. But I hope that the state legislature is as committed to the students in the state of Michigan as they are to the pensioners in the city of Detroit. Because if they took that $195 million that they set aside for the pensioners of Detroit and split that among the students in the state of Michigan, we would be getting between $110 to $130 per student for education.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of money, and school districts can do a lot with that money.
Absolutely.
And we've taken so many budget cuts over the last 15 years that I think that we owe it to our educational system. So I really hope that they're as committed to our students as they are to the Detroit pensioners.
Absolutely. Our kids deserve it.
One problem with that, students aren't old enough to vote yet, pensioners.
Yeah,
Trustee Lane?
I completely agree
Trustee
with you
Lane?
on that one.
Mr. Berna, you can't beat a dead horse enough when it comes to the matter of state funding. I'm going to just basically say the same thing that Trustee Shellis just said, except, and there's a million ways to say this, the state of Michigan used to be first class, among the highest states for gross per capita income, for education spending, for quality of life, and we have sunk to a very low, abysmal level. I think we're number 33 now. On average, we're happy because we're getting $8,362, but the average across the United States is $10,600 plus dollars. Every year we fall further and further behind. So we're in this situation where we have $500,000 for maintenance of 35 buildings, which is absolutely laughable.
It is.
And we're glad to have $500,000 when a few years ago we had $5 to $6 million. So you can't beat this dead horse enough. If we want to be world ranked, and we are in many ways, we can't always live off the past. We inherited great educational institutions. We inherited par none cultural institutions, transportation, all of that. But it's our obligation as citizens now to pay that forward and continue to educate the people who are here, because it's education and good salaries that produce good economies,
Absolutely.
produce a good quality of life. So yes,
Well
we
said.
can't keep falling $2,000 a year below every year
Right.
and expect that money doesn't buy everything. We know that. But, you know, it's like telling a starving person that food isn't everything. Yeah, you can have potato chips or you can have good quality food, but we need to rectify. I'm glad the state legislature has funded higher education, but higher education comes out of lower education,
Absolutely.
P to 12, and that needs to be funded. 250 is only a start
Yes.
for what we've lost.
Agreed.
Well, and if you think about the fact that if we, just maintenance, building maintenance, I mean, a home roof lasts, what, about 20 years? If we put our buildings on a 35-year roof replacement schedule, we would need to replace the roof every single year in a building. You know, with the amount of buildings that we have. And that $500,000 is nothing. And the
That's
the
not
only
gonna do it.
reason that we've been able to survive the last 10 years is because prior to that, we put so much money into the building,
Absolutely.
into the building and maintenance. They had an article in the newspaper from the Google Maps, how they drive around with the cars, and they showed houses in Detroit over a 3-year time period, the same exact house, and it was just incredible how quickly
They
a building
deteriorate.
deteriorates.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, when you're not taking care of it. And when I saw that, that was the first thing I thought about was schools, you know, and what happens to a building when it's not taken care of. And it's going to eventually catch up with us. You know,
True.
not putting that money into our buildings is going to catch
right.
up with us. We're not going to have buildings that last 75, 100 years.
No, you're right.
So,
You're right.
It's like we had to replace a whole bunch of buses.
Yeah.
Because we've neglected that for a number of years. It catches up with you.
Yeah.
And the heartbreaking part about the funding is educators, school districts as a whole have made all the cuts we can make. We've done all the right things and we're still losing money.
Still need help.
Whereas some people that have not planned
Done
so
the right
well and
things.
not made good choices,
they're
getting the
being
money.
rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talked about in the finance committee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
And
much.
just very quickly, if I could, Mr. President, is the only reason we are surviving now is because the voters gave us the $72
Yes.
million.
That's
bond.
Oh,
And so thank
absolutely.
you to the voters because, and this
Definitely.
board for the vision and plan. But certainly if it wasn't for that, we'd be having to come to you making
Even bigger
significant cuts to pay for those things.
Absolutely.
We're very lucky to have contingency that is committed to schools.
Yep. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Just for the record, Trustee Lane, a couple of us were at an event last week, and you were recognized for your comments and your views on funding education from the state. We'll talk about that later. Next item, please.
Acknowledgement of correspondence. I have not received any.
We received correspondence in regards to the link group.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We have received, a few emails. I received a couple phone calls, which we've been forwarding to the administration. And I'd like to thank Dr. Shankman and Mr. Whiston for following our policy on that particular issue. And we do, as a board, we do support the administration with what they're doing. Anything else under? Next item, please.
Board of Education business, board member committee and organization reports.
Just want to say that we had a committee meeting this afternoon, and it was
Finance
this,
committee.
or I'm sorry, Finance Committee meeting. It's been a long night, and it was the same information that Mr. Barnard just shared with us.
Okay,
So we
thank you.
just got the early version.
I believe that would be the only report. Next item,
Board member commentary.
I just want to make one.
Trustee Adams,
Sorry.
please. Trustee Adams?
We approved the wireless network tonight and I'm really excited about that. It's going to help us in so many ways. But I have forgotten the timing. How quickly is that everybody going to be online?
Where did
Detroit leave?
Troy leave us? Certainly, it's our plan for during this next, I think it's by December 31st, but I could be wrong. I'll get it correct.
Yeah, this year?
I believe it's December 31st, but if I'm wrong, I will correct.
There he is.
Troy?
Boy, how's that for timing?
Hi, Troy. Pam was talking about excitement of the wireless, so when will we have it all done?
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll just read it then.
This year? Fabulous. I can't wait till that happens for everybody. Yeah, good. All right, thank you. I'm really pleased that that's.
Just backing up a little bit, we did receive a blue card.
It wasn't received until after 8:30.
It was, but I don't believe that person is still here. So this will go into the minutes, but. Yeah,
And it's regarding.
It's
the-
regarding, again, the same thing, Lynn Crew, that's a Ford. And this is from Mrs. Haddad. Okay, next item, please.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not going to be celebrating graduation this year with everyone. This is the first time since I've been on the board that I haven't attended every graduation. I love graduations. They're what we live for as a school district. And, you know, we all know students that are graduating. There's just not a better day than graduation day. So, I mean, it almost brings me to tears just to think about it. So I just want to congratulate all the graduates and their families. It's a monumental event in the life of a young person, and it's the best. And they've worked for it. They deserve it, and I'm so happy for them. So for the class of 2014, I would just like to good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, now next item.
Request for information and/or future agenda items.
I got the one earlier that I'll take care of.
Is there anything else? Next item, please.
Superintendent's reports, personal
Just
commentary.
very quickly, you have a letter, I think, in front of you that we're sending to Dearborn Realtors to help them celebrate the great things that are going on in Dearborn schools, so that as prospective buyers of homes or businesses in the area, the Realtors will be up to date on the great things that this board and district are working towards. And this will be something we'll continuously stay in contact with the Realtors to share this kind of information, because it is people who want to buy houses, they need to know what great things we're doing. So this is that opportunity.
I think there's a general membership meeting coming up if we want to send
Oh,
somebody.
yeah, if you can get us that information, we'll
Laura
forward.
Green would be the person that,
It's tomorrow, that's where that letter is going.
Oh,
It'll be
okay.
given to
Okay.
80 different realtors and 30 different realty offices throughout the city.
beautiful. Thank you very much. Trustee Lane?
Sorry, I forgot something. I didn't write it down. So, along the same line, I've had a couple of inquiries from other school districts about the seal of biliteracy.
Oh,
So
cool.
Global Detroit is interested in featuring it. It's one of the innovative things the state of Michigan is doing in education. So I'd like to tout that, and I've pestered David a number of times about getting the press release and forwarding it on to people. So.
Okay, thank you.
So-
Anything other?
Nope.
Next item, please.
Take a deep breath. Future meeting dates, Monday, June 16th, 2014, HFC meeting, 7 p.m. at the Andrew Mazzara Service and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom, Henry Ford College. Monday, June 23rd, 2014, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, July 14th, 2014, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Services Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, July 21st, 2014, HFC meeting, 7 p.m. at the Andrew Mazzara Service and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom, Henry Ford College.
If there is no other business, we are adjourned.
And I didn't mess up once with HFCC.
Thumbs up there. Good job.